Come on, Cowboys. What y'all got to say? Oh, we about to go to the...
Shut up! Before I bust a cap up in your ass.
I thought y'all was beating the world.
Shut up!
Maybe next...
Say another motherfucking word and this shit is over.
But we the most hated franchise and everybody...
Shut the fuck, shut! Did I say, no! Oh shit, say it again, say something else. Oh, say something else, say something else.
How do you do?
How about him?
We'll do another episode of Head to Head Sports. You heard? Oh God! I promise there's another video coming.
Oh yeah. Come that first playoff game, there will be definitely more video to come.
Oh my goodness. Welcome to another episode of Head to Head Sports. I'm your host, Brian Parker, along with my co-host, Mr. Randall Hargrove. How you doing, sir?
Good, man. How was your Christmas?
Man, it was good. Glad that it came and glad that it's gone. How about you?
Same.
It's always that guest that hey, love to see you, but it's running getting a little late. I don't want y'all to be out there too late, so
Yeah, let's get back to some regular spending.
Oh my gosh, ain't that the truth, man? I made sure that my spending was well under control this year, with nobody gonna put me in debt, so I can walk into 2024 like a boss. So that's exactly what's gonna happen. So I ain't bringing no debt into 2024 from Christmas. I might have other debt, but it ain't from Christmas.
I'm gonna still be a boss, but I still got about $500 worth of credit cards to pay off. So.
That ain't bad. If that's all you got,
Yeah, it ain't bad at all compared to what some other people got.
Yeah, they be doing the most. I'm like, no. I prepared for this early in the year, so by the time I got to December, I was good. I was like, okay, pay that now. Pay. How you want to pay? In full. In full. That's like, how you want to pay? In full. That's how I pay.
Yeah, I love Christmas and everything, but I'm not about to make sure my mortgage is not paid for before a holiday. I'm not going that deep into Christmas.
Ain't gonna do it. Can't do it, man. No, we ain't got too old for that. So, like to hear how y'all had y'all Christmas. We are streaming live and direct right now on X, formerly known as Twitter. We're also on Amazon Fire TV as well as Roku TV. We are on LinkedIn. We are on Facebook Live as well as YouTube. All of those are on the platform of Empower TV. So check that out. Oh, I'm sorry. And also forgot to mention for the second week in a row, because as I'm looking at it on my other computer, we are streaming live and direct on the gram. We are on Instagram Live as well. So there is no excuse not to be able to catch this show, because damn it, we are everywhere. And I got more places that I want to put us on going into 2024, and hopefully with everybody's support out there, we'll be able to do that. We keep these numbers up and viewership up and everything. Then who knows? We'll be able to keep expanding the network and bring back head-to-head sports for a fifth season next year, and all of the other great shows that we're doing as well. So you guys keep it up. The viewership has been crazy. Fran, it's crazy. I posted that Cowboys clip probably, I guess, God, man, it's been about 10 days. Last time we did the show, there were about 50 views on YouTube. But it's almost 200 now.
Okay.
I'm sitting there every time I look on there, I go, wait a minute, let me see how many people have watched this damn thing. And I'm going, what? Okay, this is crazy. Okay, so I'm like, okay, obviously, when you put cowboy hate videos out there, there's an audience for that. So there's definitely
need to share that to the cooler, brother.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, your viewership will go up tremendously.
Oh, absolutely. We'll do that. Yeah, definitely.
While we're speaking of Facebook pages, let me give my brother a big congratulations for making the Facebook Kings Championship.
Going to the champ, baby.
Will this be title number 2 or 3?
I believe it's 2. I believe it's my 3rd bowl, but I think I lost one by a few fractions of a point. If I'm not mistaken, I think it's the 3rd bowl, but if all goes well, this will be the 2nd chip.
Well, I will be pulling for you, man. I don't know who you're playing. No, you're playing my boy TB. Yeah. So I'll be pulling for you. No offense, TB, but
yeah, I looked at his roster. It don't look good. So
I know this is like the 2nd year in a row that he's kind of got to the championship with the average roster. I don't understand.
He's got Miles Sanders as a starting running back. So
yeah, how the hell?
Yeah, he's got some duds. And if mine don't perform well, I got lucky because I started Brock Purdy over Tua. And Tua had the good game, and Brock just imploded. And somehow I was still able to pull it out. He had Ayuk, and I was like, well, I should do well because if Ayuk does well, then that means Purdy's doing well. So he won't be able to catch me there. And then Waddle has been – I even sat Zeke down, and Zeke actually ended up with a good game. And I have Tyreek Hill too. And Hill's been hampered by that ankle injury, and he finally came on in the second half of that Dallas game. Fire up that stogie, says Joseph Lowry. What's up, Joe? Man, I got plenty of stogies. Hey, you need to come over here and light one up too, bro. I got a whole case of them, and just re-upped on some of that Macallan 12. So we gotta put a stogie with that Macallan 12 because it is smooth. I'm telling you. I just opened it up the other night.
Tony won the championship last year with an 8-7 record, and I see he's back in the championship again this year with an 8-7 record.
8-7 record.
Crazy.
I go freaking 11-4.
That means you can't lose. Come on, B.
I did not lose this. Well, I don't know. Was it Simon or Steven? One of them was right there with me, and then got booted out of the playoffs into the consolation game. He had an 11-4 record too. So
wow,
yeah. So it ain't how you start; it's how you finish, I guess.
Yeah, it'll be me next year. I did not make the playoffs. I'm sour about it too.
hey, as much joking as I did with Michael about picking my man up as the first quarterback, Howell, he actually did okay getting into the at the end, but that was just funny. It was a funny season, a lot of injuries, a lot of things that you couldn't count for. Somebody just have a blowout game. I stay away from teams like the Patriots because Bill Belichick could run 50 times in this game and run 3 times in the next game. The consistency is just so bad on some of these teams with how they play guys and everything else. Running back is getting so much harder to calculate because a lot more teams are going into 2-back sets or alternating series and things like that. So it's always rough. Joe says I was 11-4, second seed, and got put out Sunday. He had Pickens, and that opened it up big time.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. It's just been a weird year like that. Like Pickens just explodes out of nowhere. Who
Right.
would have thought to have started Pickens with Mason Rudolph as the quarterback?
Exactly.
Yeah, it's just crazy. Who would have thought to do that?
What I thought is that they hadn't had enough time to work out any kind of chemistry like that, so it was going to kind of be, rough. Maybe he get a little here, a little there, but not to have the kind of game that he ended up having.
Exactly, man. It's just been a weird fantasy year. My guys were injured left and right, and I guess it's just a strange year all the way around with the National Football League, period, man, because we got, I think, 10 quarterbacks that have missed significant time, which is around almost a third of the whole league.
Yeah.
Robbie Jenkins says, "What's up?" By the way, he's tuning in off of the water cooler.
What's going on?
What's up, Robert?
Glad to have you in. Yeah, I'm glad. Hey, you on the water cooler? Whether you're in the cooler, we got you there. We got you on Facebook, got you on YouTube, got you on X, got you on Instagram.
Yes, sir.
Got you on LinkedIn. Hell, I'm gonna figure out how to get on some of these other spots too. I wanted that money though. Joe says, "Hey Joe, I don't blame you, man. I don't blame you, especially when you're playing for money. We're playing for basically bragging rights.
Yeah, we
But
got to play for some cash next year, though, man.
Yeah. Hey, I'm with it anytime.
Okay. Okay.
My job. We've been doing one for years, and we play for cash too. And it's funny how the craziest thing is, how is it $400? Yeah, I'd be a little butthurt too.
Yeah.
I could take that $400 and going over the paper doll or something. But I'm just saying. But whatever you choose to do with your 400. But anyway, yeah, man, I have two fantasy teams. This one I'm in the freaking bowl. The other one, I didn't even make it into the playoffs. I mean, they couldn't have been any more drastically different. I'm 11-4 in this league. I think I won 4 games in the other league. It's just crazy. There's just no rhyme or reason. It's just weird. It's just weird how you can pick so good in one, and then the other one, it looks like you don't know what the hell you're doing. So,
I had the same way. My my other league, I made it to the championship with an 11-4 record, I guess. I did not make the championship for it. I made the semifinal, my bad. I just got put out Sunday. But yeah, it's just weird like that. But my heart and soul belongs to the Facebook Kings. So
there you go.
That's the one I care about. So that's the one I want. The other one, yeah, just whatever for that one. That's like family or whatever. So
yeah, same. That's the one that I always look forward to, is to jump on that one and make a go at it. I just had that feeling at the beginning of the season. I was like, okay, if everything bounces right, I should be in the mix. Now, did I think I was going to lead the league for most of the year? No. But hey, you got to finish out strong. It don't make any. It don't matter if you sit there and did all of that and then you fall flat on your face at the end. So, I'm definitely not going to go the way of the Cowboys, because I am still winning in December. But we're going to see how all that goes. We're going to talk about them Cowboys in just a second. We're going to talk about a lot of your games. How did your teams fare this week? A couple of more Saturday games, had Sunday games, had 3 games on tap for Monday night, or not Monday night, but Monday day, as that was Christmas. And just to see what some of the surprises were. Rand, what was the surprise game for you that happened this past week?
Oh, well, no question. It's Mason Rudolph coming out and doing what he did for Pittsburgh, putting up 34 points. Come on. Like, where did that even come from?
Right, absolutely.
I also saw that Bryce Young actually played a very good game in a loss, but he played a very good game, and I was pleasantly surprised by that.
They just couldn't spike the ball in enough time at the end to try to tie it up.
Just needed another second. He kind of had that Dak Prescott syndrome going on. Needed one more second.
I'll get back to the surprising games, but I was just saying that the other day that, for the longest, teams had employed their 2-minute drills and things like that they do in practice and everything. When are they going to realize that, hey, now we got to get to a point where we literally practice no time on the clock? I mean, I'm sorry, no, not time on the clock. Very little time on the clock, no timeouts, and teaching players how to run routes, number one, that will get you out of bounds. Do not stay, or on the other side, when you got the lead, to stay in bounds so you can let the clock run. Because then you got some players, they got to understand situational football. Like if we've got the ball and we've got the lead, staying in bounds, the clock becomes that 12th man on the field for you. When you're trying to play from behind, that clock is your enemy, and anything you can do to stop that clock. Meaning that, if you catch the ball in the middle of the field, sitting there trying to go for extra yards and stuff like that, means the clock is still running. Get down, get back up as fast as you can, reset so that you have time to spike that ball and get another play off. Those kind of things, because you get taught when you catch the ball, yards after the catch, yards after the catch. That's not always the right move, though. And the players kind of have to understand when it makes sense to do that, when it makes sense to get down, hop back up, hand the ball to the ref. Y'all get in formation. He hands it to you. You spike the ball, and you live to play another down. Not get into these things. But more and more, how many times since Dallas messed that up have we seen plays come down to they couldn't get in formation fast enough? 15, 16 seconds runs off the clock before they can get in the formation and down and try to spike the ball for another down.
Yeah, it's situational football, just like you said, and you got to know where you're at on the field at all times. You got to know your timeout situation. You got to know how many yards you can run your route deeply and come back and catch the ball and get out of bounds. It's the same thing as baseball. You're playing shortstop. You got a man on second. Somebody hits it to you. You got to already be ahead of the curve and know exactly where you're going with the ball prior to that ball even being hit. It's situational sports. And it's the same thing with football, man. When the time is under a minute, everything changes. You got to.
That's a great point, because in certain parts of the game, tagging second might make sense, but other times it might be throw it to home plate first.
That's right.
So you're absolutely right. It's all situational. So a lot of the back and forth, the chess moves, if you will, really come into play in these games. And some of these games have been won or lost just by who outthought the other team. Who had the acuity on the field at the right time to make the right play. I've seen it too many times where, these players are sitting there and they're fighting hard for yards and stuff like that. And the idea was, no, just going out of bounds. It's okay. Just take it out of bounds. I know we normally tell you to try to make somebody miss and take it upfield, but that don't make no sense if you get 5 more yards and somebody tackles you, and now another 8 seconds of precious time just ran off the clock. A lot of that stuff, they need to even get more into, Rand, I believe, the pre-snap stuff, silent counts, things like that, because I have not in my life seen so many games come down to offsides, jumping routes, illegal shifts. My God, two guys trying to move at the same time and neither one of them getting set.
That's a killer right there.
Woo, man! I mean, these are those self-inflicted ones. Or if the clock is running and you make those, and it's at the end of the game, now you got to either take a timeout or go with the 10-second runoff. Neither one of those is a good solution. So that's just terrible. And a lot of that does come down to coaching now, where the coaches have to kind of get more in the weeds with a lot of their players as far as situational football. Not just, hey, ball come to you, catch ball, run with ball, tackle man with ball, hit man. You can't coach like that no more. Now you got to kind of have to get them to progress in their mind. Okay, y'all, it's 47 seconds left in the game. We're at our 20. We don't have no timeouts. Run it and see what they do. Run it and see how they can get out of the huddles, or if they should already have a handful of plays already in, and they can make they can audibilize at the line of scrimmage if they see different formations coming at them. but you have no time to sit there and get in that player's headset. You have no time for guys to be looking to the sidelines, looking for calls or anything like that. 47 seconds, no timeouts, running clock, run it. We at our 20. Get me in field goal range at least.
Yeah, we're in the playoffs or getting to the playoffs right now. And you know how close these playoff games are decided. There was one particular, I think it was wild card weekend, maybe last year or the year before, where every single wild card weekend game came down to a field goal, all of them. So that's just razor close. You know what I'm trying to say? It's just razor close performances that you have to be able to know the time that's left on the clock. The last thing you want to do is to lose a game by not having any more time, and all you needed was maybe a second or two to get a field goal off. That's a painful lesson. That's a painful lesson to go into the offseason.
Getting them extra 6 to 8 seconds back so you can get 10 more yards to give your field goal kicker a chance. If his name is not Justin Tucker, where he can probably kick 80 yards,
probably, I wouldn't doubt it.
You need to give your guy a chance to make it, and you know that same 57-yard field goal that he hit in September and October, hey, in January, the wind blowing, bro. The weather ain't as good. The lights are brighter. A lot of things are different. So don't make him kick that same 57-yard if you don't have to. Try to get it into that 45 to 39 range or something.
Yeah,
you know,
depending on where you're playing, that ball's a little harder too.
Oh, I'm telling you. Things don't come off the foot the same in January as it does in September, October, and November. So it's just funny how these teams are probably going to have to really start doing that. And to what you alluded to earlier about how many starting quarterbacks have missed significant time, I'll say it till I'm blue in the face. That's why having a quality backup quarterback is so important. Because
vital.
I mean, it's not that these guys don't want to stay healthy, but your best ability is your availability. And if your season hangs on the hopes of your starting quarterback being able to make it through 17 games unscathed or not beaten and bruised as most, that is not an effective game plan. And if you're a coach, knowing good and well hell that your survival on that team a lot of times is tied to the general manager and the quarterback, you better make sure that plan B sound almost as sweet as plan A. Because you're going to have to go to plan B at some point. Pittsburgh, you done sat there and had to go from Kenny Pickett to Mitch Trubisky and then end up putting Mason Rudolph, who has been on the team for 75 years now. And now you have one of your best offensive games, which is going to lead people to ask, why y'all ain't put Ducky in before?
I'm telling you, it's you literally wasted 2 games by starting Trubisky. You did.
Right.
And I'm hoping and praying that those 2 games don't come back to cost him. Because if it does, again, that's another painful lesson going into the season, man. Especially when the games were Arizona and freaking who was that other 2 the Patriots.
Yeah.
Come on.
Yeah, that's painful. And see, it's not so much when you lose, but sometimes it's who you lose to.
Yes.
That don't have, it's kind of like if the Packers had lost that game on Sunday, well, that would have been worse for the Packers because the Panthers have absolutely nothing to play for. No position in the draft. They're damn sure ain't going to the playoffs. The Packers are still fighting and clawing at the end. So that win meant more to the Packers than it would have meant to the Panthers. All the Panthers could have done is just play the role of spoiler. But that doesn't help you. Joe says, ain't it crazy how we have the little guy, but he's played in more games than some of the elites?
That is funny.
That is kind of funny because out of all the people who should get knocked the hell out because of their size and stuff, I mean, definitely. And he's taken enough sacks, Joe, for that to have happened, but he only missed that one game that we for an ankle injury that none of us ever saw his ankle get hurt on. That we were thinking that was maybe Frank Reich's attempt to bring in Andy Dalton and try to convince Tepper to let's just roll with Dalton. And he got one game, and then Tepper probably said, "Nah, I'm going with Bryce." I think that's what happened. I think that was his way out. If Andy Dalton would have had a good game, which he actually had a decent game, he was actually getting the ball downfield to receivers that Bryce Young couldn't see.
Oh yeah, he had a great game.
He had a decent game against Seattle.
Yeah,
but then got, all of a sudden his ankle was a lot better, and he was right back out there the next week. So I think that was a Tepper call. I think Reich was like, wait, hey, I don't think he's ready. Let's just put Andy in, let him learn. It's okay. He's a first round pick. So basically we got 5 years with the guy. It's not like a second through seventh round where you basically get 4 years because they don't have that 5th year option.
Yeah. I'll tell you what happened with that. They had to bring Andy in to run the offense so it would give them time to come up with a whole new simplified offense to put Bryce back in there, because Bryce could not handle the crossing routes, the deep reads, all of the professional things that professional offenses do. Couldn't handle it, man. So they had to make the offense way, way simpler and dumb it down for him and then put him back out there.
Yeah.
And that's where you're seeing or hearing about the Panthers having the most simplistic offense in the entire NFL. That's where that came from, that week where he had that ankle injury.
Yeah.
And if you look at some of the routes that the receivers are running, they're ridiculous. Like literally go out 10 yards and turn around. We got a lot of that. We got a lot of
backyard football.
Yes, terrible.
Well, I always said when we had Cam Newton, one of Cam's, because Cam would sell balls too much, having undersized receivers would not work because he would overthrow them as far as their catch radius. And a lot of times they couldn't get their hands on it and they would end up tipping the ball in the air and then there'd be a interception. He did better when he had guys like Funchess, when he had Kelvin Benjamin, because those were bigger guys.
Yeah.
When he had tight ends, when he had speed guys, but they were smaller, he couldn't get them the balls as much unless it was like a Ted Ginn that would get behind the defense from time to time. But when it was these other smaller guys trying to come across the middle and stuff, he couldn't get it to them because he would try to throw to his height to them, but he was way taller than them. Well, I think kind of in reverse, with Bryce's height, you got to play receivers that can play with a guy that height, because his timing is going to be based on, people can say whatever they want to. I don't like short quarterbacks. That's been noted for a lot of reasons about over defenses. They have to be able to move up into the pocket to get a good line of sight. They got to be good at rolling out to be able to throw the ball on the run and stuff like that. Things that you see other players like C.J. Stroud, Justin Fields be able to do, where they're actually better throwing on the run than they actually are standing in the pocket. And I'm not saying that you shouldn't be good in the pocket, but you've got to be able to realize that if you just stand back there waiting for a Watt to come get you, waiting for Myles Garrett to come get you, waiting for Bosa to come get you, they're gonna come get you. They can only hold that guy for so long. These guys are elite. So you got to be able to throw them off a little bit, use their speed, use their strength, aka a Micah Parsons, to their disadvantage. So if they overrun the play, you've already stepped up in the pocket. They're behind you instead of in front of you, or knocking your offensive guy into you and also take you down. So with Bryce, I think they really got to find a quarter. If he's going to be their quarterback, they got to find a coach that knows how to coach a quarterback, and find a receivers coach that knows how to teach his guys to be able to run routes that are going to be more conducive to the quarterback. I think you got different kind of receivers for a quarterback that they're not going to be on the same page because they speak two totally different languages. Joe says not bad, at least despite the height, but I still feel your point. Yeah, it's just at a certain point, he's not mobile in the fact that defenders don't worry about him taking off. But you got to be mobile enough to extend the play. If you know that when you say hike, you've got 1.5 seconds to release the ball, well, who the hell cares that you got a wide out running a fly route, running the 9? You'll never get him to the 9. He can't. He only got 1.5 seconds, And I don't know what receiver can come off the block and be 30 yards downfield in 1.5 seconds.
Yeah, Bryce has got to learn, and he's starting to learn, to his credit. For the past 2 weeks, I've seen him start to learn this. He's got to learn to climb the pocket, for one. For two, he's got to learn to throw receivers open by back shouldering, by at least giving them a shot, by putting it higher than the defensive back is. Things of that nature.
Yeah, because where's DJ Shark been this whole time?
Exactly. Things of that nature. What's open in the professional level looks different than what's open in college. In college, guys were wide open. You're not going to find that at the NFL level. I was listening to Sports Talk Radio the other day, and I heard it put quite eloquently that in Alabama, you may look across the sidelines and you will see a defensive back, maybe a safety. That dude is a stud. Watch out for that guy right there. In the NFL level, they're all studs, all 11 of them.
Yeah. Joe says, I can see the improvement. What you want at this point is improvement. I agree, because all I saw for the first half of the season was a bust.
Yeah.
And I don't throw that word out lightly. And I would love to be proven wrong, because some of the things that guys can do on a collegiate level, like, the biggest attributes I heard about Bryce Young coming out of college was everything above his neck. And that's great. I'm glad he can think. Hell, Tony Romo is a great analyst. He can break down football really, really well. Hell, he can tell you what they're about to run for the damn running, just because of the way they lined up. Great above the shoulders. That's good. But I'm also need a little bit more than that. I'm gonna need them to be able to perform, with the other part of the body too. Because you can be very, very good at breaking things down and being able to read, be able to look at tape, be able to recognize things. But when you're on the field and things are moving more at game speed, not at the speed of a tape where you can slow it down and break it down and look at it from overhead and look at how the defense is set up. And this was the same issue I had with Cam. Cam, can you sit there when you come out of the huddle, you come up to the line of scrimmage, and you see that they're showing a blitz? Can you call one of your guys into coverage to pick up that blitz? Do you know where it's coming from? Do you know how to do that? Also wanted to say welcome to Daniel Satterfield.
What's up, Mr. Satterfield?
And Anthony jumped on random statement. Oh, Lord. Mike Tomlin is the GOAT. He will have an above 500 season again. If Pittsburgh lose their last game, they will win. Ravens will sit everybody to keep them healthy.
We'll see about that. I mean, you're on to something.
True.
You're definitely on to something. I think they really need to win this game on Sunday. And then I think the Ravens will sit all their guys because they're sitting first place and they won't have anything to play for come week 18.
Yeah.
But still, my Steelers could play down to and lose to pretty much damn anybody. And we've seen that.
Yeah. Yeah. When it comes to the Steelers, every game, even these last two games, is a playoff game.
No doubt.
That's how they have to look at it. You can't take no breaks, can't sit there and take nobody for granted. That's why the Chiefs are losing. Sitting there thinking that they can just turn it on and off anytime they want to. And we'll get into them too. But I kind of saw that coming early in the year too, that, hey, this is not the same Chiefs. This is a team that can be got. And now, and it used to be when you go play them, just them walking around, you fear them. It kind of used to remind me of my North Carolina Tar Heels in the old days when you see Dean Smith walking around and you see these other guys just walking around, you already knew you lost. For they even do the tip at center court, the game was over.
Being on the same hole as Tiger Woods.
Yeah. Or same thing when Tiger was the man. Tiger walk on the field, y'all be like, all right, who playing for second? You already know who was going to win. Your idea was, how far back from Tiger can I get? Can I get within 8 to 10 strokes? And I'll call that a victory. when the
But like
Chiefs
you're
came,
saying, nobody's fearing the Chiefs anymore, man. They
nobody
got
feared
some real problems. They got
yeah,
some real
yeah.
problems on that offense.
It used to be okay. If Mahomes can only put up 350 on us, then that's a win. You know, that used to be a win. Daniel says Chiefs seem like they got a lot more distractions from the game off the field, right? Yeah, anytime it's always about Taylor Swift. But I'm gonna be honest with you, them problems ain't got nothing to do with Taylor. Did she make them? Did she help? No. But they had some lingering issues that I've seen over the last couple of years with them. And what triggered me thinking about them is when Rand said playing down to talent that they should overwhelm. The Chiefs have a history of doing that, where they
Yeah,
let teams that they should blow out in the first half hang around to the third quarter. Jermaine says, "Shake it off." All right, Taylor, you gonna start doing Taylor Swift quotes? Well, all I can say when it comes to Taylor and Travis Kelce, I knew you was trouble when you walked in. But anyway,
it's me. Hi, I'm the problem. It's me.
Now, what's gonna be sad is if y'all start coming up on here with Taylor Swift quotes, I'm gonna know who some in the closet Swifties really are. God had already threw out 2 songs for damn self, so I
Yep,
can't.
y'all keep it going, man. Keep it going.
Oh man, but yeah, so your Steelers definitely got to win 1 just to keep the winning record going, but really need 2 to get to 10-7 and kind of see how things shake out at the
Yes.
end, give themselves a chance. 9-7 won't. I mean, sorry, 9-8 won't do it.
No guarantee with 9 and 8. No
9 and 8
guarantee.
ain't gonna do it. 10, they're gonna have a better chance, but it's still gonna be based off of they're gonna need help. 10,
Absolutely.
10 in the AFC North, you're gonna need help.
Yes.
Just because of all the tiebreakers, division winners, strength of schedules, everything else. Anthony says NFL rumor just posted on Twitter that Denver Broncos Russell Wilson is expected to be released in March.
Yeah, man. Did you see where the coach is going to bench Russell Wilson for the final 2 games of this season for financial reasons when they still got a shot at the playoffs? That is the craziest thing I've ever heard.
Is you mean like incentives and accelerators that would happen if
Yes.
they play? Oh, that's cool.
Yes. For that, we're talking about a quarterback who has 26 touchdowns to 8 interceptions, and you're gonna put him on the pine for the final 2 games of the season when you got a 7-8 record fighting for the playoffs. That is insane to me.
Why would they for financial? Wait.
Yeah.
Your owner's got more money than God.
Yes.
Who cares?
Yes.
Hey, the man.
I don't know what's going on behind the scenes there. Maybe Russ has fallen out with the coach.
If that got out that they were doing it for that reason, and you're in that fan base, would you really believe that team is trying to do everything to give you a winning product?
No, I would be a furious fan right now.
Oh my man, I hope that's just a rumor and that's not true, because I mean, it's one thing when you're just getting beat on the field. It's another thing when you're sitting there sabotaging your own team. And if you're going to sit down Russell Wilson, now look, what happens after the season? Hey, you got to sit there and do what's best for your team going into the next season. But your team still has a chance this year. You got to sit there and push all your chips to the middle of the table, period. Daniel also said that, yeah, I agree with that too, Daniel. Daniel's first comment said the real issue for the Chiefs is Matt Nagy never got that hire for OC. Couldn't agree with you more.
Yes,
There
absolutely.
is going to be some kind of questions as to, okay, Chiefs offense looked a whole lot better under Bieniemy.
It sure did.
Bieniemy leaves. Everybody always kept saying, well, the reason Bieniemy didn't get a head coaching job because they kept saying, well, Andy Reid is the one really calling the plays and Bieniemy is just standing there.
What's that looking like right now?
Really?
Yeah.
Well, even if Andy was the one calling it, Bieniemy was coaching these guys up to it. So now that they're not bound at the hip anymore, how is it working with Matt Nagy and Andy Reid? Because their offense has been doo-doo at best. I mean, if it ain't the Kelce or Pacheco's running the ball and now he got concussion, their offense has just looked terrible. A lot of times they just look lost out there. Like they don't even know what they're running.
That's exactly what it looked like in that Raiders game. If you watch that,
Mm-hmm.
Mahomes dropping back and having forever to throw, but can't find anybody. It's crazy. The offensive line gave him like up to 5 seconds to throw the ball sometimes, and he's still back there patting the ball, looking downfield.
Which Bryce Young is going,
yeah.
That happened? That happened to people? Yeah. And then the second part of Daniel's comment was Peyton never seemed to like Russell Wilson.
I agree with that too.
Yeah, I do too. And because he y'all gonna get mad at me because I harp on short quarterbacks. Okay. Russell did a lot of his legendary stuff when he was younger. He moved around. He learned how to climb the pocket. He learned how to throw on the run. Like I said, there were plenty of times when I would see him catch his guys running fly routes, and he's almost on his back because he just throws these rainbow dimes to them. You can do a lot of that when your athleticism is really, really there. When you're an older, shorter quarterback and mobility is not. Now, he's kind of turned back the clock on a couple of games where you'll see spurts of him, use his legs and take off and stuff like that. But more of those years are behind him than are in front of him. So you really got to start figuring out, is Russell Wilson your long-term answer? If you're sitting there trying to figure out how much of that team are you going to have moving forward, are y'all about to blow this thing up? Is Jerry Jeudy going to be on the team next year? Is Courtland Sutton going to be on the team next year? What is that team going to really look like? I know you got Javante Parker. I know you got I'm naming that. I can't think of it back, but I know it's Javante. Williams. You got to sit there and figure out where is he going to be. Now, even if you decide he's not the long-term answer, are you going to try to draft somebody? Or are you going to try to and bring them in as a bridge player? Or are you going to go after another veteran and keep doing the Indianapolis route and just hiring one old guy after another?
It certainly seems like Peyton wants to go with a youth movement. I think that Wilson's days are numbered. I really do.
Yeah. Daniel says if he doesn't start looking like Drew Brees with his hype, he's going to be out. I agree. At some point, you have to overcome your height. If you've got, look, it's like playing basketball. You're a short guy. You're 5'2". Your chances of making the NBA are slim to none. Yeah, you can sit there and say Muggsy and Spud and all of that. How many of them did you see? When you find a guy like a Mutombo, who I would argue Muggsy and Spud combined had more athletic talent than Mutombo. I mean, not Mutombo. Manute Bol. Mutombo did have some skills. I'm thinking about Manute Bol. When Bol, you roll Bol out there because you can't coach height. The dude was going to be 7'4", 7'5", no matter what day it was.
He's going to get in somebody's way.
He's going to get somebody's way. He's going to obstruct somebody. You ain't got to do a whole lot. I got a 13-year-old niece right now, Rand. She's 6'5".
Oh, her future's bright.
Bright. Scholarship. Come on with it. Can't dribble yet. But hey,
need to.
She gonna get it when she get it. But right now, she's 6'5" and 13.
They're gonna be all over her. I'm telling you.
She walk up, they say, "Oh, you trying out for the team?" Yeah. On the team. Hey, you have to look at those drills because there's certain things that when you're a quarterback, when you're that prototypical quarterback, when you're 6'5", 225. Got a rocket for an arm, the fact that you're not mobile, they'll figure that out. But when you're 6'1", 190 pounds, now they got to sit there and start scheming a way for you to be effective. Now RPOs become part of your game. There's other gimmicks and things like that early on in your season will help you be a player. But is that going to translate into you being a 7-8 year player? Or is that going to translate into you being a 13, 14, 15-year player? Because you're taller, you can sit there and, throw the ball away. You can get out of harm's way and stuff like that. So a lot of those things too. Height is nullified by her lack of skill. I love her though. She'll get there, Jermaine. Don't worry. He's talking about. He said she's soft. Stop talking about my niece, man. He said she's soft. Like she will learn. But you can't teach nobody to be tall. Either you
That's
are.
what I was about to say. I was like, you could teach aggressiveness, you can't
Right.
teach height though. So
Hell.
she'll be all right.
Remember our neighbor in the backyard, Jermaine? He used to give his dog hot sauce to make him mean. Just give her some hot sauce. When she say, "Daddy, I'm hungry," just give her a Texas Pete bottle. But Jermaine, I'm sorry, Anthony says if Wilson is cut, the top 5 landing spots, not in order: Falcons, okay, Giants, yeah, New England, why not? But I don't know. After what I saw with Bill Zappy the other day, who knows? Washington, come on now. What about Sam Howell?
Yeah, I don't know about Washington, but
And he said, and Pittsburgh.
yeah, I've actually heard Pittsburgh. I agree with the 4 others, but I don't know about Washington.
Oh wow.
Yeah, I've heard that rumor that he'll be on his way to Pittsburgh.
Heart over height. Yeah. Well, she could look as she's blocking shots. She can sit there and say, "Sorry about that. Try again next time." She can show him heart that way. But yeah, that would be interesting if Russell Wilson ended up in Pittsburgh. Somehow, I think Mason Rudolph would still be on the team, though.
Yeah, I hope so.
Daniel says quite a few teams will be looking at the quarterback market this offseason. Totally agree.
Absolutely.
And I think a lot of teams, and honestly, Daniel, whether it's a guy coming in that which you should not do, and basically say, okay, you're going to be day one starter. Let people know you're going to have a chance to compete. And even if they're not the day one starter, they need to be ready because as we've seen this season, how many guys thinking that they were going to carry a clipboard and a ball cap all year end up having to step into meaningful play. You think about Easton Stick. You think about Browning.
Mullins with the Vikings.
Mullins. Heineke. You think about O'Connell with the Raiders.
JB with the Bengals.
Absolutely.
Not Joe Burrow, but Justin. What's that dude's name? The other JB, not Justin.
With the Bengals. Oh, you talking about Browning?
Yeah, Browning. Yeah. Jake Browning.
You think about when Minnesota needed a quarterback after Kirk got hit. Dobbs came in and did well for the first couple of games. Then they go to him. You think about Justin Fields getting hurt, and their rookie coming in and playing some meaningful games. Teams have to understand. I mean, Jacksonville Sunshine went down, and they didn't even want Beathard to come in and play. They had him hobble on out anyway.
The Browns have used 4.
Yeah, the Cowboys, even though Dak hadn't gotten hurt, they've got Cooper Kupp. The Ravens hadn't had to go to Lamar's backup, but he's got Huntley. So those are meaningful backups that you got to have. It just can't be another guy. It's got to be a guy that knows the offense in and out and can keep the chains moving. I don't want to hear the term game manager or system quarterback because every quarterback that plays in the NFL is a system quarterback. Because if you don't think they're a system quarterback, that means you think you can just plug them and play them anywhere and they'll have the same success in one place that they have in the other. And that does not always translate. Just because a player is hooked up, because people have said for the longest, man, if you took Bryce Young and you put him over in Houston with that line, or would he have done better? Or when you see Miles Sanders and they go, why did they sign Miles Sanders? Well, when he was behind Philly's line, he was a world beater. Now it's just Swift's turn to do it. But when you put him behind Carolina's line, he's not the same guy. Well, he didn't forget how to run. Sometimes when you're in different systems, everybody is a system guy. If you're a 4-3 guy and then the defense coordinator tries to make you run 3-4, you're not going to look as effective. When they talk about Michael Parsons sitting there playing middle linebacker versus being a defensive end, he doesn't look effective one way as the other. It's because it's a different position, a different system. So,
I got some comments I want to read from Robbie off of Facebook here. First of all, he says trash Bisky. I couldn't agree with you more about that one. Absolutely truth, brother. And then he says the Chiefs have no other receivers besides Kelsey. Again, I agree with you on that one too. That's the whole problem with the Chiefs. They ain't got nobody downfield that's gonna threaten you like they did with the cheetah. They don't have that no more.
Nobody fears you anymore. And Anthony says, if I were the Browns, if you were the Browns, are you keeping Joe Flacco on the team knowing you overpaid for Watson? You got to.
Yeah.
Why not?
Yeah, why not?
Because again, in the last 4 years, whether it was suspension or injury or whatever else, how is Deshaun Watson's availability working out for you? Not having a plan B, to me, is you being as irresponsible as you can possibly be to your team. You got, hey, we love the guy. If you love him, maybe he gives a great massage. I don't know. Maybe he good with them hands. Maybe you should put him on the hands team at the end of the game. But anyway, I'm sorry, I can help it. Mr. Massagy, as Brad calls him. But even if you love the guy, the reality is he going to be there when we need him the most? And the sad part is you got 87-year-old Joe Flacco out there still doing. Amari Cooper would love for you to sign Joe Flacco.
Absolutely.
Because Amari Cooper went buck effing wild the other game. Did you see that?
Oh, yeah. And
Amari
that's the thing.
11 receptions for 265.
And that's the thing with Watson. You know, you can't just wash your hands of him now. You stuck with him.
You're stuck with him.
You stuck.
But you need an insurance policy.
Ain't nobody gonna trade for the dude because
No.
he ain't shown absolutely anything.
Yeah, there's nothing on tape to see. Like, what are you looking at?
He's definitely holding a quarterback roster spot. So you might as well go ahead and get somebody else because you know he can't be relied on for all 17.
And I mean, look, Flacco had 2 interceptions, but he's 87 years old, y'all. He threw the ball 42 times, 368 yards, and 3 touchdowns.
Good God.
And he's 87. Looks good. Looks spry. You know, so you know, and I mean, he's got a ring. He's been there. This one thing you say about Flacco is that he's been battle tested. He's been in enough times to know the difference between the regular season and the playoffs. Very valuable guy, even if it's in the locker room, trying to mentor a quarterback. I think there's some value to that. But he can still produce on the field, y'all. He put up 368 yards. Yeah, you sign him. Daniel says quarterback injuries have really shown that this year, literally every team leading a division this year has one thing in common. Starting quarterback has made it all year.
Let me see. I have to go through and think about that one.
Well, you leading division. You got the Dolphins leading the division. They've had
Buffalo
2 the year. Kansas City has had Mahomes. The Ravens have had Lamar. Sunshine has played most of the games for the Jags. And you go into the NFC, you got the Eagles. They've had Hurts. 49ers have had Purdy. You know, he had that concussion. He came right back. Lions have had Goff, and the Bucks have had Baker Mayfield.
You're absolutely right, brother.
Yeah.
You're right.
I mean, consistency means something. And the other teams that are struggling, how many changes of quarterbacks have they had? Well, if you look at the NFC South, Falcons have had multiple changes. The Saints have had multiple changes. The Panthers had that one change. You look at the NFC North, the Vikings have had multiple changes. The Packers have kept Love, but then the Bears have had changes. You look at the NFC West, the Rams have had changes. The Seahawks have had a few changes. And the Cardinals have had changes. True. You look at the NFC East between the Giants and the Commanders, definitely have had changes.
A lot of change.
Yeah, a lot of change. That's just the NFC. You go to the AFC, you can say that with the Jets, the Patriots, the Raiders, the Chargers, the Browns, the Steelers, the Bengals.
The rest of the North besides the Ravens.
The Texans lately, because CJ Stroud's missed a couple of games now, and the Titans for sure.
Yep.
Yeah.
You know, that's why I want Pittsburgh to make the playoffs so bad this year, because the AFC started off as like a conference where it was like basically super teams. But because of all these quarterback injuries and everything that's transpired during the year, the AFC is wide open for the taking, man.
Wide.
Yes.
Can you really say any team in the AFC is a clear favorite? Now, look, outside of the Ravens beating up on San Fran the other night, which I'm going to get to, because I've been down on the Ravens all year, all couple
Me
of
too.
last years. And at some point, it's almost like, and I got my friend Christina that's posting now what y'all got to say. Like, and I keep going. Look, it looks like they're gonna win. They're gonna have the number one seed because it don't look like the Chiefs are in. Well, the Chiefs can't take it now. The only other team that has a chance would be the Dolphins. But the Dolphins would almost have to win out, and the Ravens would almost have to lose both of their last two games for that to happen. If the Ravens make it in as the number one seed, then they may end up changing my mind about their ability to get further into the playoffs. If they have to play in the opening week, I just don't have faith in them because they've not shown in the playoffs to me that they're a team built for the playoffs. They've always shown me that they are a dynamic team that can sit there and stir up a whole lot of stuff in the regular season. But then when they get to the playoffs, it's a totally different team. Until I
Yeah.
see them have success in the playoffs, Rand, I don't care if they go 17-0.
Yeah, I have to see it as well because of just Lamar. He just tends to always wilt away and melt in the playoffs. But the thing with the Steelers making it to the playoffs, even with the Ravens don't blow out Pittsburgh. That's not
No.
a team that we fear. I don't care what the record has been over the past couple of seasons. Pittsburgh plays them down to the wire, tough every time, and
Mhm.
usually comes out with the W, man. So we'll see. I really want the Steelers to be able to pull it through and get into the playoffs because, like I said, I just think the AFC is open for the taking.
I started off the topic. What was a surprise game from this past week, and we already threw out the Pittsburgh game because just the way Mason Rudolph played against the Bengals. But we also, I'm sorry, Anthony. Anthony says I don't want to jinx it. This is the first time in a while Lamar stayed healthy. Oh yeah, he about to crack some ribs. You did it. You when you see him limp off in the next game, Anthony, I want you to realize you 100% own that. Daniel also said too, Watson would tick me off as a team because even though Burrow was injured, yeah, I saw that. I know where you're going with that. He's on the sideline helping Browning. Watson just sits in press booth doing nothing. He's not in the press booth. No. He's in the suite.
Yeah, ain't
But
that something?
yeah, I saw that, and that did disgust me. Either don't be there at all, or be on the sideline trying to help your team any way that you can. Now,
That's just somebody don't care, man.
I mean, tell me you don't care without saying it.
Mm-hmm.
Tell me you don't give a damn. So I totally agree with you, Daniel. I don't know if the players love and respect him. Maybe he's a great teammate. Maybe that's just a bad optic. But optics do matter because a lot of times how people perceive you then really creates who you are. People perceive Aaron Rodgers to be an aloof asshole. That's how people think of him. Yeah, and that's what he'll forever be. Might have been a great player, man, but God, he's an ass. Reminds me of that quarterback in The Replacements that could nobody like. They wanted Keanu to come back to the team, so it's just one of those things. What game surprised y'all? While y'all are typing that in, I'm gonna be honest. The one that did surprise me, the way that the 49ers sat there and played against the Ravens. They're coming to your house.
Oh God, yeah.
And Brock Purdy. I mean, what happened, Brock? He throws 4 interceptions. 18 to 32, 255. McCaffrey does McCaffrey things. 14 carries for 403 yards and a touchdown. George Kittle even had 7 receptions, 426 yards. But the turnover, you're not going to win a game with 4 interceptions at all.
No, sir.
The turnovers will just come back to kill you. They ended up with 5 because I believe Sam Darnold decided to come in there and hand one off to Baltimore. So, and Baltimore hasn't been a team that's been just necessarily taking the ball away and stuff like that. So those sudden changes do not help you out in that respect. You were better efficient at third down than Baltimore was, but I mean those turnovers just come back to kill you. Baltimore didn't outrun you. They only ran for 102 yards. You ran for 121. You passed for more yards. you had more total yards than Baltimore. Baltimore only had 343 total yards ran. The 49ers had 429.
Them turnovers, man.
If you
You
look
just
at
can't do that.
6 yards per play, they had 5. Everything looks either equal or you have the advantage until you get down to turnovers, interceptions. Baltimore 0,
Mm-hmm.
San Francisco 5. Even time of the possession was only differentiated by about 2 minutes and some change. Everything else, sacks allowed. Okay, yeah, you did take 4 sacks. You hit them twice. That's still kind of even to me. It came down to turnovers.
Turnovers. Can't do it.
Quick
Can't
score,
win.
things like that. So that's really what surprised me because normally San Francisco is such a physical, intense team. That really surprised me that they came out and their effort just did not seem to be there. Daniel said Ravens Niners, same. But statistically, they beat the Ravens. He just says, that's funny. But statistically, they beat the Ravens in every stat except for interceptions. If Purdy plays clean, different story. But turnovers are that costly.
Yep.
100%, brother. We vibing. Come on the show, Daniel. And Anthony says, surprise Giants versus Eagles. I don't know what about the Eagles, but they're not scaring nobody. You know, that was one of my other games too, Anthony.
That was one of mine as well. Yep.
And you know, the funny thing was this game was not decided until the end.
Mhm.
Somebody forgot to tell Danny DeVito and them New York stinking Giants that they wasn't supposed to win that game. They supposed to roll over and fly, Eagles fly.
Exactly.
Man, I tell you, when it comes to some of these division games, records be damned. It's we know you, you know us. Let's go.
Especially in prime time.
Damn. Yeah, I thought when I saw that game was going to be in prime time, I'm like, why? Flex that game out. Don't nobody want to see that ass whipping. What? The Eagles had to outscore the Giants 13-7 in the fourth quarter to win that game. That's the truth. That's the truth. Tyrod Taylor did have to come in for Danny DeVito. I know his name's Tommy. Don't hit me up like that. I just look on him, Danny DeVito. I think that's hilarious as hell. But yeah, Jalen Hurts, he threw for 300 yards, but I mean, my God, they could not stop the New York Giants from scoring. It was absolutely crazy.
Yeah.
And here's the thing: it was 20-3 at halftime.
Yep. I'll tell you another game too that surprised me as well. Well, it really didn't surprise me because I think I put it out in the cooler that just it would be a close game. But when you had the Broncos and their record, and you look at what the New England Patriots, you know, people were saying, "Why is this even in prime time? This is going to be a blowout." And I just had a feeling. I just had a feeling, man.
I thought they were going to eat the Patriots alive.
Yep.
The other way around. Muffed punts, fumbles. And then not only that, but then the Patriots taking advantage of it the other way. Baylor, Zappe just sitting there dropping dimes and stuff. Now, if you would have told me that Zappe would have went 25 of 33 for 256 and 2 touchdowns, no interceptions, I would have told you were smoking something.
Yeah.
And to do it with Ezekiel Elliott after the game he had the other game, follow that up with 12 carries for 27 yards. This is what I'm talking about. This is why I don't pick Patriots players on my fantasy team. Zeke had a great game, then follows it up with 12 carries for 27 yards.
Yep, that's what they do.
Yards a carry? Yeah, but it was Zappe. And Zappe, the Demario Douglas had 74 yards, but it was because he was spreading the ball around to so many different guys and just chopping them up. It was unbelievable. Russell Wilson didn't play a bad game. It was it came down to turnovers. Fumbles lost 2. No interceptions. The Patriots lost 1 fumble. They lost 2. Time of possession, still 2 minutes and some change in this game as well. Russell Wilson got sacked 5 times by that New England defense. Even when that offense ain't worth a damn, that defense is always formidable. So, I mean, they were basically the same. Third down efficiency. One was 3 for 13. One was 4 for 13. Not outstanding there. Yards were about the same. Nothing to set the world on fire. New England, 289 total yards. Denver, 276. They were even everywhere except for that turnover, costing them the game. And then the thing that got me, Rand, was not only New England was just beating the brakes off of Denver. In the third quarter, it was 23-7. Denver comes storming back, scores 16 points in the fourth quarter to New England's 3, and catches up with them to where it's 23 all, and then New England ends up kicking that field goal to win the game.
Yeah, it's just been a crazy year. That's all I could say.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
Anthony says Zeke is the number one now. Stevenson is on IR. Yeah, but that don't mean nothing. Belichick might say, "Okay, Zappy, go throw 50 times and we'll run Zeke 10."
Yep.
Don't know with Belichick. I don't know what he does if he's looking at the opposing team and says, "Okay, they're more susceptible to the run. This team's more susceptible to the pass," and then he just decides, "Okay, this is how we're going to run it." He doesn't look at it like, "Okay, we're a run-based team. We're going to run the ball 60% of the time, pass 40% of the time." I think he literally looks at who they're playing and he decides based on that how he's going to play this.
He really does. And it's not like he says, "Oh, I have this star player and we're going to exploit them with our star player." No, our team is going to attack their team in this manner. And
right. And we're going to do it. And we're going to do it until they stop us from doing it.
Yeah.
He'll run the same play left, the same play right, and just keep running it until you stop him. And if you don't stop him, he's going to keep doing it. I'm surprised that the Falcons beat the Colts like they did. It was 29-10. That was amazing. That helps them stay pace with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers for the NFC South. The Bucs are at 8-7. The Falcons are at 7-8. Of course, the Saints are still in it too at 7-8. Got to remember.
I'm gonna stop you for a second and grab my power cord so I could power up right quick.
All right, you got it. While you do that, I mean, I gotta go ahead and get ready to get into the Cowboys. But let me just play this one more time.
Come on, Cowboys. What y'all gotta say? Oh, we about to go to the...
Shut up! Before I bust a cap up in your ass.
I thought y'all was beating the world.
Shut up!
Maybe next...
Say another motherfucking word and this shit is over.
But we the most hated franchise and everybody...
Shut the fuck... Shut... No! Oh, shit! Say it again. Say something else. Oh! Say something else. Say something else.
Cowboys. Let me tell y'all something. Y'all thought y'all had it, didn't you? I would like to say that was a surprising game. The only thing that was surprising was the fact that it took Miami that long to go ahead and get the W, which was basically the last play of the game. But was it a doubt that the Cowboys was going to figure out how to lose that game? No. Now, what I will say is this. Dak is playing some pretty good football at the right time. CeeDee Lamb is showing that he is definitely a number one receiver. But your defense is starting to show cracks. When you don't have scooping scores, when you don't have interceptions, when the defense is not handing the offense the ball back, ain't nobody scared of you. And that's what I saw in that game, Ram, was no interceptions thrown by either quarterback. The Cowboys did lose a fumble. No lost fumbles for Miami. Dallas had 4 sacks. Miami only had 1. A lot of the same things. Again, I don't know what it is with this 2-minute time of possession, but right at about 2 minutes and 3 seconds to be exact was the difference in time of possession. So it wasn't one team had the ball longer than the other, anything like that. Everything else was pretty even. They had Miami had 375 total yards. Dallas had 339. Passing was about equal. Hell, rushing was only a 6-yard difference, and the advantage was to Miami. I'm sorry, to Dallas. This really came down to who had the ball last, and who took advantage of the situational football that they were in at the end of that game. But again, I knew Miami was going to win the game. I was getting a little worried at the end because it looked like Dallas might pull it off. And I don't know why, because Dallas does what Dallas does in December.
You know it. It's only a matter of time. You know, these Cowboy fans, you know.
I mean, 2 weeks ago they beat Philly, and I mean, man, I mean, chest out, everybody celebrating.
Yeah.
My Facebook was miserable. I ain't gonna lie to you. Facebook was miserable after they beat the Eagles.
I just get to the point where I just let them bark because we all know what's coming. It's inevitable, man. It's inevitable. It's going to happen. It's going to happen because it happens every year.
Oh, geez. And Anthony, you really gonna make me do this? Rand, he wants to talk about your BFF favorite quarterback.
Oh, I already know who this is.
He said,
"Oh man,
can we put some respect on Baker's name? That man been balling this season."
As hard as it is for me to do, I will put some respect on Baker's name.
We all been waiting for the balloon to bust with Baker, so we've not really said much because it's almost like as soon as you get ready to give Baker any credit, he gonna go back to doing stuff that you were just waiting on. So it's kind of been one of them things like if we don't talk too much about Baker, he'll keep on doing okay. But the minute that you highlight, and now that you made us highlight Baker, they're gonna lose the damn division. Anthony. Lamar gonna be in a cast, and Baker gonna lose the division because of you. That's what's gonna happen. That's gonna be that's your legacy, Anthony. That's gonna be your legacy. But no, I will put some respect on Baker's name. Baker is a short quarterback. Y'all know how I feel about those. That has to be in a system that allows his height not to be an adversity for him. Todd Bowles, got to give him all the credit in the world for understanding that Baker is not Tom Brady. Tom is way taller. Tom can see things different. Use the things that makes Baker be more of an asset than a liability. The same thing I'm saying with Bryce. If you think that he has a great head game, and no, I'm not talking about no OnlyFans stuff there, but if he has a great head game, because when I hear that, let me cerebral game. Yeah,
pause.
Let me not talk about head or brains. That could be a different show. But if he has a good cerebral game and he plays a certain way,
Deshaun Watson just logged on.
Yeah, Deshaun's like, wait on. Who's that head going on? Where's the head at? Take your ass back to the suite. You get plenty of head there. If I go up in that suite, Rand, and I see a damn massage table, I'm done. I go to these places with that. Never mind. Oh God, man. Like, where all these Instagram girls come from in this suite?
Got a big old orange massage table sitting there.
Oh yeah, my shoulder gonna be hurt a couple more weeks, y'all. Hell, he done sat up in that booth so long, he probably liked them seats better than them damn bleachers on the field. He like, I ain't sitting out there. It's cold out there.
Yeah, I ain't going out there. That's exactly what I was thinking. I ain't going out there.
I can see this bull crap from this suite just as good as I can see on the field. Not better. That's probably what he's thinking. Oh my God. But yeah, so craft your quarterbacks play to their strengths, not just a regular game plan. I don't think that you necessarily have to dumb down the offense. But I do think you have to cater the offense to the type of style of play that your current quarterback has. Tom Brady's style of play totally different than Baker Mayfield's. And I think having a coach that can recognize that and make those changes then gives your quarterback an opportunity to do what they do best. I think Baker has missed that. I know he certainly didn't have that in Carolina. The Rams were a ready-made team. When he stepped in, he had to play. These guys were used to playing with Stafford. Baker and Stafford don't play the same. Baker don't have the arm that Stafford has. You know, Stafford can throw guys open a little bit better than Baker. Baker has to be really, really tight with his throws to get it to those guys. They have different ways of approaching the game. Every quarterback style isn't conducive to the way that the rest of the team always plays. So it's not just plug and play, plug and play. You got to make sure that you have guys that can play to the style of that quarterback. Lamar Jackson is a perfect example. You don't know what the hell he's going to do. Hell, even your offensive line has to be cognizant of Lamar, because if you don't, you know what they're going to end up with? A lot of illegal man downfield penalties.
Yeah.
Because you don't know if he's going to take off and fully run, or if he's going to try to throw on the run and then get you that penalty because you went a yard upfield because you're trying to block for him. So who knows? You got to understand who your quarterback is and play to his strengths. Anthony says, like, why does sweet smell like baby oil and Johnson Johnson? Who turned out all the lights and put these damn tea leaves all over the place? I almost stepped on one and burned my foot.
Where all these brown towels come from?
I wouldn't touch one damn towel in there. Nasty ass.
Hell no. Hell no.
Oh my gosh. Oh, Mr. Massager, man. Ain't no telling who been touching him and where he been touching them at. So I don't even know if I shake his hand. I'd be like, buzz on, bro.
Something that's funny. Robbie commented on your video for the Cowboys, and he had one thing to say: Pinky.
Yeah, you can't go wrong with Pinky. You can't go wrong with Pinky, man. Oh my gosh, I love Mr. Friday. Oh man, but yeah, it's hilarious because Cowboys do again what they normally do this time of the year. I'm trying to see whether any other surprise games. I was a little surprised that the Bills Chargers went 24-22. I thought the Bills would have handled them a lot better, especially because the Chargers don't have Justin Herbert, but Easton Stick. That's a hell of a name. Easton Stick actually put up a good game. 23 or 33, 215 yards. Didn't pass for any touchdowns, but threw no picks. So that was a really good game for the young rookie, Mr. Stick, to be able to do. But I was a little surprised that they let them kind of hang around in that game as long as they did, Rand.
Yeah, I was too. I thought that was going to be another blowout, man. It is just crazy. You know, my primetime record, I used to be sitting close to 20 games above 500. That has now collapsed down to, I think I'm 11 games above right now. It's just crazy, man.
I lose them all. I'm like, if I go one way, the other team is bound to win. They probably want me to root against them so they can win. The Jets beat the Commanders 30-28. That was a bit surprising. Not because of my confidence in Sam Howell, and obviously Ron Rivera didn't either, because he brought old reliable Jacoby Brissett into the game and benched Sam Howell, I believe.
Yeah, you're right. He's been benched for this upcoming week too. You're right.
Already. Wow.
Yep.
I mean, look, at this point, Rivera has nothing to lose. He's a dead man walking. Definitely going to be one of the coaching openings this year. So we'll definitely be on the lookout for that as well. Good dude, but probably time for that change. Been time for that change. But to a team like the Jets, that have been just in turmoil all season because their whole Aaron Rodgers project ended four snaps into the season. It's just been interesting. This was also a team that the owner did announce that Robert Saleh and the GM would be back next year for the Jets. So that's good for them that at least they know that their coach and their general manager will get what I believe one last chance to turn that team around. I think that leash is probably one of the shortest that's going to be in the NFL next year.
Agreed.
Produce or be gone.
Yep.
I think a lot of the other ones will be resolved on Black Monday. The day after the regular season ends, they call that Black Monday because of the head coaches that get chopped.
Yeah, I think Rivera be one of those on Black Monday. I'm trying to think who else. Maybe what's his name with the Giants? Duval.
Yeah,
He might be another one.
Brian Daboll. Yeah, Daboll may be gone. I'm thinking. I'm still seeing how New Orleans is really going to do. I think their coach may be done.
Yeah.
I really do. Um,
Smith with the Falcons. He could be another one.
Smith definitely could be gone. After that, though, it's kind of hard to see what the Patriots are going to do with Belichick.
Yeah.
Are they going to say, "Hey, Bill, we'd love to keep you around, but maybe in an advisory role or a front office role, something like that, or maybe you can be the general manager"? But we just don't think that it's makes sense for us to do both anymore. Like we got to be able to separate that out a little bit more. So there's more of an accountability between the head coach and the general manager. When they're one and the same, how much accountability is there between each other? Wait, how do those Zoom calls go? Hey, Bill, how you doing? Well, we're off to our next team. Just gonna push ahead. A win's a win. I agree. All right, medium.
A lot of I agree.
yeah. Too much. A bit too much. I agree. Absolutely. All right. So coming up, week 17, we got 2 more weeks, y'all, before we hit opening rounds of the playoffs, divisionals, conference, and into the chip. But before that, we've got 2 more weeks. So what are some upcoming games that you'll be looking at coming this week, Rand?
Lions, Cowboys, Saturday night. I will be glued to the TV for this one.
Mm-hmm. And it's gonna be in big D, y'all. Yeah. How do you think it's gonna end up going? Because the Cowboys are on a 2-game losing streak.
They are, and Detroit's on a 2-game win streak. So
They
it just
currently are in the 5th seed. Detroit wrapped up the NFC North this past week. The Cowboys are currently in the 5th, and their strength of schedule, like I said earlier before, is a lot harder than the Eagles. So all intents and purposes, Eagles have a better chance to win the division. So if things stay the way it is, the Cowboys are currently in 5th. But if they lose their last 2 games, they can slide.
Yeah,
they're trying to be done. This is not written in ink right now. This is still in pencil. Right now, the Cowboys are 10-5. And if they let's just for hyperbole say they go 10-7, the Rams could still get the 10-7 or better. The Seahawks could beat that. It'd be really hard for Minnesota to do it. It'd be hard for the Packers, even though they could. The Cowboys, if they lose their last 2 games, could end up not. No, I'm sorry. They clinched the playoff berth. I'm sorry. They already clinched a wild card.
Yeah, they're already in.
So, but they go from 5 to 7.
Yeah. Yep. Robbie chimed in. He said he's looking forward to the 1:00 matchup on Sunday between the Ravens and the Dolphins. That will be a good one too.
Mm-hmm. Oh, that's that could be. I mean, that's huge.
Yeah, it is.
If both of them end up with the same record at the end of the season, head to head gonna be the tiebreaker.
Yep.
So this is a playoff game.
Absolutely.
This is a high stakes playoff game because remember, y'all, only the overall number 1 seed gets a first round bye. Even the second seed has to play in the first round. So that is they still have something to play for. So if the Ravens don't beat the Dolphins, unfortunately, Steelers fans, you might see the full team out there on the last day of the season.
Yeah. And I love it when the regular season like that, just close to the end, has like basically playoff games on its agenda. That is definitely one of them. And then the Sunday night game, New Year's Eve, we got another one. 2 7 and 8s matching up with the Packers and Vikings. That is an absolute playoff game where the winner could get in with the wild card and the loser's pretty much done. So that's another one, man. It's a pretty good week.
A lot of playoff picture will start to come into form by the end of this NFL week.
Mm-hmm.
You're really going to, but the crazy thing is it's going to be week 18 for a lot of some of those other games to really be decided. I remember, I don't know if it was last year or the year before, where Pittsburgh's hopes was on two teams tying.
Yeah.
I'm like, damn. Like, not one win, one lose. They got a tie.
They had to tie to put us out.
Put you out.
And it almost happened.
It did almost happen. We were joking about that, like,
yeah.
And it came down to overtime.
It did. Yep.
Jesus Christ. Oh my gosh. So there's some wacky stuff that does happen in the NFL for sure, y'all. Any games that y'all are looking forward to, just send us a message. But we're definitely gonna keep an eye on that as we get into the second to the last week of the regular season. Definitely gonna be looking at that Ravens game. The Chiefs play the Bengals. The Bengals may have an opportunity to go in there and just blow the brakes off of the Chiefs. The 49ers play the Commanders. I think they're going to take out all their frustration on Washington. They might fire They might fire Rivera in the third quarter of this game. The Panthers play the Jaguars in Jacksonville. Carolina wins.
We got some good games, man, this week.
The Patriots play the Bills. In Buffalo, in Orchard Park, the Patriots got a chance to win that game, y'all.
Don't sleep on it.
Oh my God, it's some crazy games out there. Falcons Bears is still going to be a big game. The Bucks and the Saints is going to be a big game because if the Saints beat the Bucks, then that's going to help them have a three-way tie for first in the NFC South. It's some crazy games going on, meaningful games. I like meaningful games, this far into the season. So that's going to be a really, really good thing to see, y'all. So a lot of good stuff on the horizon. We'll definitely do it again. Y'all sober up because we'll have our show on that Wednesday. I know how y'all do on New Year's Eve and New Year's Day. Pace yourselves. Don't hurt yourselves. But we will see y'all again next week. So thanks to everybody for joining. Thanks, Rand. Have a good week. I'm going to the chip, Rand. I'm going to the chip.
Good luck, brother. Get it. I'm pulling for you. Happy New Year's, everybody. We'll see you back next 2024.
2024, and hopefully another Cowboys loss. See y'all then. Y'all take it easy. Peace out.